They say the best love stories start with friendship, and ours was no exception. Darren and I met during our sophomore year at college. He was the driven business major, with his whole life mapped out, and I was the hopeless romantic who believed love could conquer anything. We met during a late-night group project, and somehow, that turned into coffee dates, study sessions, and long walks back to our dorms where we'd talk about everything and nothing. We didn't have much back then. Old textbooks, instant noodles, hand-me-down furniture. But we had each other. And in those quiet, ordinary moments, I felt like we had the whole world. We used to sit on campus benches, watching the sun dip below the trees, planning out a future where we'd live in a tiny apartment, chase our dreams together, and never lose sight of each other. Looking back now, I realize I was dreaming for both of us. Everything changed the day Darren got the email. It was a job offer from a top tech firm in London, a dream opportunity, one he had always talked about, one he had worked so hard for. I remember the way his face lit up when he read it. He held me and spun me around the room, and I celebrated with him like it was my own victory. But somewhere between the champagne and congratulations, a small part of me cracked. I asked him what it meant for us, and he brushed it off with promises. "We'll make it work," he said. "It's only for a year. We're strong." But as the weeks passed, I saw the shift. He was already there in his mind, in that big London office, making moves, shaking hands, building an empire. And I was still here, trying to hold on to something that was slowly slipping through my fingers. At first, we tried. The video calls, the texts, the countdowns to when we'd see each other again. It was hard, but we were determined. But effort eventually turned into excuses. "I've got a late meeting. Time difference is crazy. Can I call you tomorrow?" And before I knew it, those tomorrows turned into weeks. I used to wait by my phone, rereading our old messages just to feel close to him. I'd send photos of my day, tell him about work, about what I cooked for dinner, and get nothing but a double tap or a quick thumbs up. I didn't want to admit it at first, but I was dating his voicemail. One night, after days of silence, I sat alone on our bed, staring at my phone. No missed calls, no texts, just silence. And in that moment, I realized the person I loved was no longer on the other side of the line. So I packed my things. I left behind the apartment, the promises, the version of us that only existed in my memory. And I chose myself. Life moved on. Or maybe I just did. It wasn't easy letting go of someone you pictured your life with never is. But I poured myself into work, into healing, into becoming someone I could be proud of again. I stopped waiting, stopped wondering. I even started dating again. Nothing serious, just reminders that love could look different. And just when I felt peace for the first time in a long time, he came back. I was sitting at my favorite cafe, lost in a book, when I saw him through the window. Darren, standing there like he hadn't missed birthdays, holidays, breakups in years of my life. He looked different. Older, sharper, tired. He walked in slowly, like he wasn't sure if he'd be welcome. And honestly, I wasn't sure if he was either. We sat in the park that evening, just like we used to. Only now, we were strangers, sitting where lovers once were. He told me everything, about the job, the loneliness, the regret. He said success wasn't what he thought it'd be, not without someone to share it with. He told me he never stopped loving me, that he was scared I'd moved on without him. And the truth is, I had. I still cared about him, but the girl who waited by the phone, who believed love could fix everything, she wasn't sitting next to him anymore. I listened as he poured out his heart, and part of me ached for what we lost. But the other part, the wiser part, knew that sometimes love isn't enough. especially not when it arrives years too late.